and your colleagues and team?
Well, sure. So, the multitude of our clients are entertainment center operators and owners, primarily throughout North America. And they're operating family entertainment centers, bowling facilities, indoor and outdoor water park operations, and a multitude of other recreation style venues. And as we all know, for most virtually all markets have been under a lockdown situation now for the better part of 4 weeks. And a lot of those facilities are currently standing by waiting to re-trigger at this point. I can tell you that a lot of our clients have made really good use of that time, though, because it's been a really great opportunity to really catch your breath, take a look at your operation, and start building a little bit of a strategy for the reopening process. And so, of course, there's always a little bit of strife associated with the process that has occurred with the pandemic. But for a lot of our clients, we're planning and strategizing on how to reopen, how we're working with our banks, how we're working with landlords and suppliers. Probably the number one item I've observed is that communication's the key part of it. Getting everyone to communicate and work together to get ourselves back to the point of normalcy. What do you expect, Sheryl?
Well, I was going to say, and Sheryl, why don't you tell us kind of the same thing? Like, what are you guys doing? How are you feeling? What are you seeing and preparing for?
So just as Jerry said earlier, that everyone's kind of in that, wow, we never have time to do this. We never have time to do that. I've seen people say we're not only standardizing our new operating procedures and getting ready and, what will it look like? Will our staff have masks? Will they have gloves? What are we going to have to change, not just for the staff, but for the guests? And I think if you look at the 3 phases that they are going through, we're in that major over the hump of, they say flatten the curve, but we've made it up that roller coaster curve, and we're hopefully heading down. And they're spending time, hopefully, cleaning their park, organizing, doing inventories, the tasks that they just don't have the time to do when you're in the frenzy of everything. And they're really hopefully communicating not just with their audience in terms of their guests and their members and their VIP clubs, but with their staff and saying, here's what we're thinking, here's what we're doing. And I would even tell them to be holding town halls. Get all of your staff together and say, hey, kids, I call everybody a kid under my age. We want you to know that we care about you and we care about your safety. What can we do to help you? What can we do to make it easier for you? I have a client who said, while they're all collecting unemployment, I have a few that just cannot afford groceries. So he is personally, out of his own pocket, giving them the dollars for groceries. So I think it's a really good time to get your systems in place. And then, Jerry, what do you think the next phase is going to be?
Well, perhaps one of the biggest issues I think for consumers today is the consumer needs to feel comfortable, but they're going to follow our lead as facility owners. The more comfortable we are in re-engaging and re-triggering, the more comfortable the consumer is going to be about coming into our facilities. And with that in mind, I think it's especially important that we take that opportunity to alert our guests that we've taken extra measures, that we are comfortable in opening the facility, and we want them to be part of our family. Because one of the things I think we've learned through the COVID event is that families become very important. And as a business model, I think our guests need to become part of our family, and they need to know that we're caring about them enough to make them job one and make them part of the family process. Safety is our number one status. The good news as an industry, we have always been focused on cleanliness and health and safety. And this is our opportunity to really shine out there because it's what we have done best over the last several decades.
No question about it. Go ahead, Susan. Sorry.
No, I was going to say, so absolutely. And I think you bring up a really good point that this is the time to really come together and start doing this. And when we were preparing yesterday, we were talking about just what does this mean? It's not time to say we're closed. We have to sit and wait till somebody says that we're open.
Yes.
It's also not time to hide under the covers and say we're in a crisis. There's nothing I can do, right? And I'm a PR person, I'm a communicator, and this is where we go into crisis communications a lot. When you hear this crisis communications, what does that mean to you? How are you reacting, and how do you recommend people react at this point?
Well, I'll jump in on that one. So sometimes the normal reaction for most of us might be one of paralysis. It's a little bit of a shock. This is not something that, frankly, any of us has gone through in our lifetime. And as a result, it's a little uncertain on what exactly to do. But what I have found and what I see happening with our clients is we're setting small goals each day and each week. And we're setting those goals with the idea that we make progress every day towards the reopening of our facilities. I think it's very important to stay focused on progress. No matter whether the facility is open or closed, let's accomplish something every day. Because the truth is, when we were running at full tilt 3 or 4 months ago, we didn't have time to deal with and analyze all these little parts. They were on the to-do list, but we really never got to it. Let's use the time wisely, because as a society, I feel very comfortable. We're going to be back to business as we, particularly in the United States, know it to be, which is we're very social folks, and we expect to be there once again, and we will be there once again. But let's use that time wisely.
And you know what, Sherry? I think the other thing that you said earlier on and what Susan said right before this segment was she's in PR, she's in crisis. What message are you giving to the people on your social platforms? On Facebook, are you saying, folks, we'll get back to you when we reopen? Or are you engaging them? Are you saying, hey, we just found out that Target got a delivery of toilet paper and hand towels? Are you saying that we have a contest that we're running? You know, we're all about fun. How are we making fun while we're closed? You know, and I'm not saying that your group salespeople will pick up the phone and say, hey, you have to book today, you have to book. But are they calling and just checking in and saying to their top 10 clients, let's say each day, how are you doing? What can we do to help you? We are here to support you. We have so many extra, not necessarily your roll of paper towels, but Z-fold paper towels that we'd love to give you if you need it. You know, I saw a really great post yesterday from a restaurant that said, if you buy a gift card during this time period, 50% of that gift card will go to our staff members. And I thought that was, you know, hey, you know, we're selling, but we're also helping. And when we were talking yesterday, I wish I could remember who said this the very first week it happened, but helping is the new selling. What are you doing to help people? You know, they've got kids stuck at home. Are you saying, go play a game and post your score on our Facebook page, and the highest score on, I don't care if it's Candyland or Monopoly, whatever it is, the highest score gets a free $10 gift card when we reopen. Are you helping them? You know, we're all about having fun and keeping memories. So what are we actually doing instead of doom and gloom and watching another story that another 300 people died, another this? What can we do to lift their spirits a little bit?
Well, it's very true. You know, as an industry, and Sheryl, I think you agree, we have a responsibility as an industry to elevate society and to elevate consumers. They've been through a very traumatic event right now, but it's now our job as an industry to give them what they need most, which is that release. And I think what we're going to find is not only do consumers need it and acknowledge that they need it, we have to supply it. And we've got to be prepared for them. Because as this pandemic shifts to the next stage of recovery, the consumer is going to be looking at us as an industry, all of these entertainment facility owners, recreation facility owners, to help through the process of returning to normalcy. And they're looking to us for direction and solutions. And frankly, I think we've got to be prepared.
I absolutely agree. Go ahead, Susan.
I wanted to come off of the helping is selling. When you said that yesterday, that just warmed my heart, because I think that's exactly it. It's all about connection and relationships and looking forward. You know, I have an 8-year-old who has a June birthday. He's very concerned. What will happen for his birthday? Will we be in the house? Can we go somewhere? Will it be open? And I know one of the things that you both have shared is what are things that your colleagues that you guys can be doing to either help moms like me or reassure kids that your birthday is not canceled. Like what this is, you guys are the business of fun, and I think you have some unique solutions to offer as well.
So here are a couple of really quick things, unless Gary wants to talk about birthday parties first.
Please.
Please. So Susan, there are so many things, and this is one of my favorite topics. Everyone knows I like to talk about parties. Number one, for your son, even if he can't have his birthday party at the park where he wanted to have it, a lot of the parks are doing what I call birthday in a box, where you can call and order and get all the same items so that you don't have to go to 10 stores. And if they're not doing it, they will do it after this little Facebook. The other is you can take it in a virtual party, where online we'll have our mascot sing happy birthday to what's your son's name?
Aiden.
Sing happy birthday to Aiden. If your city permits it, we will even have our mascot of Chip get into his costume, drive over, and wave and drop balloons off on your mailbox. We can do a lot of things that will make it really cool and special. Providing a mom everything that she needs is just the best gift you could ever give. And I will tell you, for Aiden, if everything is still, I hope not, in lockdown, stay at home, you can tell Aiden, and this happened at my own park, so we started this a gazillion years ago, when a kid came in and was really mad at us. I'm like, why is he mad? My sister always gets to have a party here and I don't because I'm, and I was like, we've got this. We now celebrate half your birthday. When Aiden turns 8.5, that's when he's going to get to have his super 8.5-year-old party with us. So you can have your in-home party and then you can have your party with all of us.
So it's a really good point, Sheryl. I know, of course, I'm sure a lot of our members and certainly many of my clients are concerned about the economic side of the process as well, in terms of we want to do right by our guests, but we also know that we have some of our own personal and business challenges that we have to get through. I think my message to everyone is this is a scenario where everyone is together in the circumstance, not just the entertainment industry in particular, but frankly, every business and every industry is facing the same challenge together. We're going to take this a day at a time. And as a society, we're going to be able to emerge from it. But I would encourage everyone to stay calm in the process. The banks, the landlords, some of our municipalities, everyone's going to have to work together here to get to the solution. So I would really encourage everyone, little steps, right? Set little goals each day and each week. And let's not worry too much about some of the driving issues that are financial in nature. A lot of those are going to get worked out by design within society.
So Jerry, I'm leading on that same path. This is something that I've wrestled with a couple of clients, and I'm not quite sure what the right answer is, so I throw it out to you. We're all about numbers. Yes, it's all about gathering, but if we don't have X amount of people come through, how do we make our payroll? How do we make the numbers work? Is it almost better to wait an extra 2 weeks when other things can open up? Or if it were me, I would say let's try and get through the little bit and suffer, and then hopefully I throw it back to you. Oh, I think he just froze.
I think Jerry froze up on us for a second. Hopefully he'll come back here.
And it wasn't the question, I promise you.
No. I think this is the wonders of live, technology. We'll see if we can get him back here for a moment.
Okay, and while you're working on getting him back, I'll throw out a couple more birthday ideas because I'm still loving that birthday thing. So for Aiden's birthday, we're going to send you a really cool birthday gram, which is going to be a candy bar wrapped in it, customized for his 8th birthday, I think you said. And then we can also include a gift card. And in the gift card, it would say, happy birthday from your friends and enjoy your day. And now I lost both of you, so I'm on here alone. Okay.
No, you're still here. Can you hear me? You're still here.
I can hear you, but I don't see anybody, but it's okay.
We'll get you back.
It's all good. So while we're working on getting us all back, I think one of the other things that I looked at in the chat box is people are really liking the fact that helping is the new selling. How is it we're going to help people more and more? And I think we can talk about every aspect of our business. When you said you're home with your 8-year-old son, I immediately thought, I have a mascot costume. One day at 11 o'clock, I did calisthenics with Chip. or if I did movement with Maggie or something every day so that the parents could have a 30-minute break and know that I was their virtual babysitter. My mascot would just entertain the kids and say, hey kids, now we're going to start, it's time for your gym class. Maybe gym classes are longer. I'm not really sure. So those are a couple of ideas.
Well, and I think too, this is the time when you're building and showing your relationship with your consumers and with your brand. You have an example about a local place. If you buy a gift card now, that money goes to your employees that maybe you're not able to pay right now. What are some other things that there's great opportunity online and all these things are fun, but how can you be helping your businesses either save revenue or bring in revenue and be ready to be open, to still be around to be open?
No, that's awesome. So even before we get to that, a soft opening, not a grand opening again, people can be making money now with their doors closed. And they can do it in many ways. A lot of the owners I talk to are sitting there with a freezer full of dough, their pizza dough. So do a make and take kit that you can say, hey, here's the fun activity for your kids. Go home, make your own pizzas, and we'll supply you with all the items you need. You have a lot as you're doing your inventory. There are going to be tons, and I mean tons of things you're sitting there saying, why do we have so many onesies, twosies? I say put them all together, put them in a really cool little cinch bag or even a brown paper bag, and have it posted on your social media and e-blast out to all of your people saying, hey, we've got a really fun surprise gift, or you're really bored. Stop by anytime between 12 and 2 and pick up your grab and go gift. Hey, Terry, welcome back.
We got it back.
Technology is an amazing thing.
It is. And when it works, it's great. And when it doesn't, you're like, wah. We're glad you're back, and you came back at a great time. Sheryl was just giving us examples, and I love the making idea she just to make some pizzas at home, where we have lots of great ideas to entertain and build your brand. But you guys are a business. We're all in business. We need to either bring in revenue,
That's right,
save money, be ready. And so Sheryl, maybe you can continue with that, and Jerry can and also provide some insight.
So Jerry, a couple of things we talked about is you've got all this redemption inventory sitting in the back. Make really cool, fun grab and go gifts for the kids. In the afternoon, if you sell cookies or if you sell popcorn, tell your parents, hey, mid-afternoon break, curbside drop-off only, cookies and milk, followed by, hey, if you're doing an afternoon movie theme, we're going to supply popcorn. And even if you give the popcorn for free, but sell them a candy bag from your excess inventory.
So that's a good point, Sheryl. And let's also consider that our consumers, our guests that are coming to our facilities, I think they're going to be in their most understanding mode that they've ever been in since we've known them. And because of that, one of the ways in which we can re-engage here is to lessen some of our expense loads. That means we might be a little bit lighter on labor in the early stages. We may share some of our staff in terms of controlling different attractions at various times. Not everything may be open at every moment of the day. I think what we're going to experience is that our guests are going to understand that we're doing everything we can to remain operational. It also may be worthy for us to consider the fact that we're going to ramp ourselves up in stages. So where we might have been operating at 100%, we may open the gates to a 25 or 30% volume. But let's consider that going in. And as I was saying earlier about a strategic plan, let's try and build a daily plan around the reality that we're going to be starting out a little bit slower than we expect. Let's adjust our labor. Let's try to adjust our expenses wherever we can so that we don't overassume what will take place. And
Jared, I think that's so awesome. And I think people will learn from that, that if we have 10 attractions, maybe this is the new norm for us. That these 2 attractions are open, then these 2 attractions are open, and then these 2, so that we are more effective, we are more efficient. I think those are things that sometimes we let go because we're just flying by the seat of our pants some days.
And I agree with you, Cheryl, for sure. I'm sorry, Susan.
No, I was just going to say, Sheryl, you had said the other day that, when you guys reopen, if you haven't sold all your birthday parties on your first day, it doesn't mean gloom and doom and it's the end of the world, right? It means you readjust, you rethink, you find other opportunities like you guys were just mentioning.
But Susan, that's a great point. I think one of the things that concerns me if I were an owner right now is, okay, so we've got everybody back out on the streets. We have not earned their trust yet that we're safe and they'll be safe. And we also have not thought about the fact, wow, some people went without a paycheck or got laid off and didn't get unemployment in time. So they're going to be protecting their money a lot more than what they used to. So as owners and operators, we have to think, do I adjust and have a super low economical package just to get started? Do I have a do I continue my virtual party package until 3 months in when people are now trusting us? Am I going to change my deposit requirement? Somebody's going to say, well, I really don't want to give you a deposit because what if the second wave kicks in? So are you going to say, well, we used to say, oh, no, non-refundable. Now will we actually say, this is what we have in place, but in the event of an emergency, we'll gladly refund you a deposit. There are things that we just have to think more like a general person that's walking in saying, should we go, shouldn't we go? And we're also faced, I think Gary said this yesterday, that we're faced with people have gotten used to being at home. They've gotten a little more creative. So they might think that they can do their own birthday party at home. I will tell you, it will be the best marketing thing we've ever done, because after they've done one at home, we're all laughing. Next year, they'll be calling us saying, I want that first time spot.
Yes.
Those are awesome points, Sheryl. And I would add to that this is our opportunity to go the extra mile for our guests and really try to help them through the process. There are going to be some financial challenges for the guests. There's absolutely correct. This is an opportunity to make and create a permanent memory in our guests' mind, where sometimes let's go the extra mile. We have the facilities, we have the infrastructure. Let's build that rapport. We spent so many years trying to earn their business. Now's our opportunity to really cement it by going that extra mile with them to say, you know what, as Sheryl had mentioned, we're going to help you out a little bit. If you can't make the deposit right now, we're going to book it for you anyway. We're going to do it.
Oh, Jerry, I agree. And we were talking to another facility the other day, and there were two things that came up when the person said, oh, no, I can't make everybody wear a mask. They're not going to want to. It was very negative. And I said, okay, stop. In the words of one of my clients, what would Sheryl say? And here's what I would say. When we soft reopen, you should have bandanas that are super cool, that are a new collectible item, and have a station right up front where you show them how to make a new bandana mask. Have your staff doing videos so that people can learn at home. Here's how you do it. Here's what we're going to do to protect you. I think we really have to be, as Jerry said, a lot more helpful and caring and compassionate.
Yeah.
And we really can be. And, your point on the bandana concept is a really good one because, let's go ahead and make it a little bit more special, a little bit more personalized. Allow people to get engaged in the process a little bit and make some of their own choices. But they're going to certainly be looking at us from a leadership perspective to advise them on what's appropriate and safe in the facility. And our staff, our ownership groups, we all have to project the extra steps that we are taking and make every consumer aware that they matter to us. And we're making those steps and taking those steps, not just for them, but for our staff and our management and everyone associated with our facility. That is our number one priority.
Oh, I agree 100%, Gary. And I really think, I wish this were my idea. I always say, if somebody's got a better idea, it's fabulous. But one of the casinos already announced that at their front desk, that they're going to have a little card that they hand to everybody. Here's our corona safety policies. Our staff now wash their hands every 15 to 30, or whatever those were, every 30 minutes. Our bathrooms are cleaned every 30 minutes. Our food kitchens now wear double gloves instead of a single glove. Our staff all have their temperatures checked before they come in. So it lists on a little card. They're putting on their social. They're putting it everywhere. But now we can say, wow, they're really doing it. And I say, have your staff create a video showing them, hey, we're washing it. I don't know if any of you have ever been on a Norwegian cruise line. Maybe not, yeah? Okay. I was blown away 5 years ago that at every entrance point, they wanted you to use the sanitizer just to keep the ship clean.
Right.
So our staff came up with washy, and you can go anywhere and lock it in your head. Oh, it's time for washy. And how can you, and they let their staff do it, how can your staff make it fun, make it entertaining? You know, have your mascot wearing a bandana and saying, I practice safety. Have your mascot, you know, say to the kids, if you're doing, when we were talking about interacting, that you can just pick 2 blocks in your neighborhood. Get approval from the police, of course, and make sure it's have them hold a sign that says, this is your dance off, stay on your step. And then you play music and the DJ is playing, the mascot is dancing and getting the kids to dance. You don't think the kids are going to talk about that for years to come? He came to my block, I got to do it. So also,
well, I think you bring up a good point. It's basically taking a lot of what used to be in the back of house and bringing it forward house, right?
Yes.
Like a lot of times we see your cleanup crew would be during the 3rd shift when everything's closed, right? And now maybe it is showing that you're cleaning while your guests are there, that's actually okay. You don't want to hide that. You're taking and showing examples of, here's how we're protecting you. Is that really where you guys are leaning?
Well, Susan, that's a really important point there, because we want the guests to see it on the front end, and we want them to see that it has become the priority within the facility. Because let's face it, we have a responsibility to entertain. The consumer wants to be entertained from a societal perspective. They want to be in our facilities, but they need that extra level of comfort that we're doing exactly what they're doing at home to remain safe. If they can see it firsthand, I know myself as a parent, I would certainly feel very comfortable if I saw a staff that was dedicated to making sure the facility was clean and safe.
Absolutely. Well, this has been a great conversation, even with our tiny little in our final 2 minutes. I love numbers, so I'm going to just kind of challenge you both to give me your top 3 things that you think we as members of the attractions industry and the FEC community should be thinking about right now before we open.
Jerry, you can go first.
Put you on the spot.
Well, quite frankly, the 3 things that are important to me: number 1, reconditioning your staff and getting them ready to go and thinking along the same lines that the ownership team is thinking about. Everyone needs to be prepared for an opening scenario. Number 2, we've got to get a hold of our suppliers and our key business contacts and make them aware of what our plan and strategy is in reopening, because we do need their help and we absolutely need their support to make that happen. And 3, and most importantly, for some of our more significant obligations, our banks and our landlords, we have to advise them that we have a plan and we have a strategy, and that ramp up will take place over a period of time, but we need to get their support upfront, so that if we need to lean on them in the short term, that they understand what our goals are and how we end up returning to normalcy.
Wow, those were 3 great ones. Now I have to follow. I should have gone first.
I'm sorry, Carol. I'm sorry.
Okay. So number 1, I still go with what Susan talked about earlier, communication. That we have got to have a very strong communication strategy for our staff, for our guests, and for our banks and every vendor partner. Number 2, I would really, really be working on new SOPs, standard operating procedures, every little thing down to the nitty-gritty. And this is the best time to be retraining and working with the team. So I think that's just huge. For those of you who don't have your training together, do it now and do it better than ever, because you really are going to have to teach them how to be a little more careful. What are they going to do if some kid rips their mask off? And I think the 3rd thing is really just remembering we're all about fun and creating memories. What can we do right now? And what can we do when we do our opening first to make it the most memorable experience and help our guests? Susan, I thank you. It's been an amazing opportunity. I hope all the members have learned an incredible amount. And by the way, you did not tell me your mini golf club that you created.
Yeah, Jerry, didn't you create a golf club that you're going to show off on this? Well, really appreciate you guys taking time to come together to share your insight with our IAAPA attractions industry community, because that's what we are. We're a community. We're all striving to stay connected, and through technology, through email, those virtual hugs. That way we can engage. We really appreciate it. So thank you for today. Thank you for all you guys do for IAAPA, and for everybody who's viewing. We will have a version of this posted on our website probably by later tomorrow. And also, we encourage our members to visit our website and the Special Resource Center at iapa.org/COVID-19. So thank you both very, very much.
Thank
Thank
you.
you so much.
We're
Thank
in it
everybody.
together. Take care.
Cheers.
All right. Bye-bye.